this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing fractions and we're going to be multiplying fractions. Now if you've been following along with my videos, we've just spent a few lessons on adding and subtracting fractions. So there's different rules for multiplying fractions. It's a little bit unusual to get used to. So there's no common denominators for multiplying. It's actually, I think, easier to multiply than it is to add and subtract. To multiply fractions, firstly, we simplify where possible, and then we find the numerator by multiplying the numerators and the denominator by multiplying the denominators. Okay, it's all very wordy. I always find it's much easier to just see it done, and it makes more sense that way. So, what all that said was, first thing when we're multiplying fractions is we want to simplify. Now, we can simplify our numbers. Any number from the top can simplify with a number anywhere on the bottom, okay, if they can be divided by the same number. So for example, the 2 and the 8 can both be divided by 2. If I divide that by 2, I get a 1. If I divide that by 2, I get a 4, okay? So as long as it's one number on the top and a number on the bottom, doesn't have to be the same fraction, doesn't have to be diagonal, it could be either of those options, then we can simplify our numbers. Okay, the 3 and the 5, they're not going to simplify at all. So once we've simplified as much as we can, we multiply the numerators together. 1 times 3 is 3. And we multiply the denominators together. 5 times 4 makes 20. Okay, and that's it. That's done. So 2/5 times 3/8 is 3/20. Let's do it again for B. Now, 4 times 3/10. Okay, this doesn't even look like a fraction here at the beginning. We want to make it a fraction. To do that, all you have to do is put it over 1. Okay, because 4 divided by 1 is really just 4. We're not changing its value. But if we make it into a fraction, then we can easily see the top and the bottom in case there's any things that we can cancel out, which we can. Okay, the 4 on the top and the 10 on the bottom, both of those numbers can again be divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 goes twice, and 10 divided by 2 goes 5 times. Okay, there's no more simplifying there. So we multiply the top numbers together. 2 times 3 is 6. And the bottom, 1 times 5 is 5. Now that is the answer, 6/5, or we could also write that as a mixed numeral. 5 goes into 6, we can take one lot of 5 out of that 6, so it would go once with a remainder of 1 out of 5. Okay, for C, 3/4 of, or so 3/4 of 5/6. Of is a word we often use, which actually just means multiply. So I could rewrite that to be 3/4 times 5/6. Okay, so it's really just the same as the others. It's still multiplying. Looking to simplify, the 3 and the 6 here, they can both be divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 goes once, and 6 divided by 3 goes twice. Multiplying what is left, on the top, 1 times 5 is 5. On the bottom, 4 times 2 is 8. And that's finished. Now, when we get mixed numerals, we need to change those into improper fractions first. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10/3 for the first fraction, times by 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13/6. Okay, looking to see if we can simplify anything on the top and bottom. The 10 and the 6, there's a factor of 2 there that we can cancel from those. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Multiplying what's left, 5 times 13 is 65, and 3 times 3 is 9. Let's change that back into a mixed numeral. So we want to know our 9 times tables. So 9 times 7 is 63. So we have a remainder of 2. out of 9. All right, E, we've actually got 3 fractions multiplied together. So it's just a longer version of this. We need to change them into improper fractions. So 7's the denominator for the first one. 1 times 7 is 7, plus the 3 is 10. For the second fraction, 2 is the denominator. 2 3s is 6, plus 1 is 7. And for the third one, 5 is the denominator. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Okay, now remember I said you can cancel anywhere top and bottom. So I could even do the 10 way over here with the 5 way over there. See, one's on top, one on the bottom. So dividing that by 5 goes twice. Divide that by 5 goes once. What else can we divide? All right, there's 7, there's 2 7s there. Let's divide those by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 7 divided by 7 is 1. And the 2 and the 12 can be, so you can divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So lots of cancelling out in that one. Multiplying everything we have left across the top. 2 times 1 times 6 is 12. On the bottom, we have 1 times 1 times 1, which would just mean we have a denominator of 1. But if it's a denominator of 1, 12 divided by 1 is just 12. So it's better just to write it as 12 for the final answer. So all those messy fractions there multiplied together gives a nice neat answer of 12. Okay, now you know how to do it. It's time to practice. So pause the video and give these questions a try and restart to see the answers. So for question 1, we can cancel the 3 and the 9 by dividing by 3. We would get a 1 and a 3. The 2 5s can also be cancelled. Dividing by 5, we get 1 and 1. Multiplying what is left, 1 times 1 is 1 on the top, 1 times 3 is 3 on the bottom. For question 2, of just simply means times, so I can write that as 7 over 15 times by 5. But remember that a whole number can be written as something over 1, so that we have 2 fractions in the question. Now we can look for cancelling. The 15 and the 5 can both be divided by 5. That will give me 3 here and a 1 there. Multiplying what's left, 7 times 1 is 7, 3 times 1 is 3. So 7 over 3 is the answer, or we could write it as a mixed numeral. 3 goes into 7 2 times with a remainder of 1, so 1/3. Question 3, we have mixed numerals. Let's change them into improper fractions. 3 is the denominator. 3 times 5 is 15, plus that is 16. Times by 4 is the denominator. 4 3s are 12, plus 3 is 15. Looking for cancelling. The 3 and the 15 we can divide by 3. Give me 1 there and a 5 there. 16 and 4 we can divide by 4, which will give an 4 here and a 1 there. Okay, so that will give an answer of 4 times 5, which is 20, over 1 times 1, which is 1. Okay, if you ever miss any cancelling in here, it just means you might have to do some cancelling in your answer, and that's fine. Question 4, we have the 3 fractions. Let's see what we can cancel. We have a 5 here and 25. So dividing by 5, I get a 1 and a 5. 6 and 9, let's divide by 3 to get 2 here and 3 there. 4 and 11, that's not going to do anything, but I could do this 2 and that 4. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 is 1, and that divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so this one I've actually cancelled down twice with 2 different numbers. So what do we have left? 1 times 3 times 2 is 6, over 1 times 11, which is 11, times 5 is 55. That's it. Last question, number 5. 3/8 of year 7 catch a bus to school. In a group of 48 students, how many would you expect to catch the bus to school? So that means we want to find 3/8 of, and remember of means times, 48 students. Okay, we put the 48 over 1 to make it into a fraction, and then we look for cancelling. All right, 8 and 48, they're going to cancel. 6 8s are 48. I can divide that by 8 and have a 6. Divide that by 8 and have 1. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18, and 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, which means we have a nice whole number, which is good because we're talking about people. So we would expect 18 students, okay, to catch a bus to school. That's the end of our lesson today. Keep practicing and join me again next time. Bye.